Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today, I'm in the sanctuary again. I've got a Loyola shirt on. Shout out to Raven School that she went to her freshman year before transferring to MSU. Also, want to give a shout out to thisent.com. It looks like he's trying to hook me in to write something for him. So, our collaboration is getting stronger. So, shout out to Joe Walker for everything he's doing for the show. All right, today on the show we have our new friend Jolyon Vincent. How you doing, Jolyon?
Great.
And your project, I'll just get that there so everyone knows, is Reiki by donation, which I love the name. It's got the price structure built right into it. So what you been up to today?
I basically was just getting my bicycle fixed over at Michigan State. Probably good to note for people from the Fledge. They do basically nonprofit type of bicycle repair stuff over there. Cost $65 for me to get my bicycle tuned up. So,
where's that at Michigan State?
Bessie Hall. It's right down by the river. If you go past the pavilion and the river on Farm Lane to the north, you turn left at the traffic light. It's right there on your left.
Yeah. Have you ever tried like the bike co-op?
I haven't actually, but I've been down to MSU, so I know they're good at what they do.
I don't know sometimes the bike co-op is free, but sometimes not, and not always the best parts and not always available. But
there's another group of people that met off of Wise Road before the COVID thing. I don't know if they still do, but that was, I think, $5 per visit. And, it's more or less like a class that teaches you how to fix your bike, but it also, collect dues to help keep the program going.
Yeah. Are you a pretty big biker? Do you love to bike?
Not anymore. Yeah. I like to bike out with my friends and try and get my kids to go out. When I was a teenager in my 20s, I did a magic ride for child abuse and neglect. And I think the longest I ever rode on that was 100 miles.
Magic ride, huh?
Yep. They're not doing that anymore, I think, but that was
do you ride in Lansing a lot?
Yeah, Lansing and Holt.
Do you find it dangerous?
Only in inclement weather.
I feel like it might be me. I keep trying to reflect on this, but every time I ride my bike, it seems like someone's, coming up the street too fast and run, kind of where they should stop for the stop sign, and constant having to watch out for that. So let's get into you a little bit. Where were you born and raised? Where'd you go to school? What brought you to Reiki by donation?
I was born and raised in Holt. And so I grew up in the Lansing area, went to the Lansing Community College, Michigan State. After that, I went to Rochester, New York, and Henrietta. We studied for management information systems, computer stuff, computers and business. That was at Rochester Institute of Technology, otherwise known as Brick City. Then after that, I came back to Michigan and kind of like just resumed exactly where I left off. I got my old job back, met back up with my old girlfriend. So that was an interesting experience to come back. Start going back to LCC again for stuff. I had some friends who were into paganism and into occult studies, and they had told me about a guy who was doing a class in teaching Reiki as a healing method, and so it was just like me and a couple other people went out for a weekend to this guy's house and just something to do, and we hung out and he taught us how to do Reiki 1 and 2. And then that's where it started for me as a Reiki practitioner. I was doing Reiki 1 and 2, and they say like you're supposed to wait, I can't remember, 6 months or a year to get your master level, so you have some time to practice in between. So I waited, and I met up with a guy from Ann Arbor who developed his own system using the Agam rune set. Norse mythology, and he taught Usui Reiki. He said I was going to be his last student with the traditional Usui method. So I was fortunate enough to get my Reiki mastership levels from him, and he also trained me in the first couple levels of his system for the Norse. He described it as the difference between like AC current and DC current, whereas the Usui system was more like a pulsed AC. You don't really need to concentrate as much on it, whereas his system had constant chance or constant focusing of the symbols that you're using.
I'd like to take a step back a little bit.
Sure.
How do we define Reiki? Would you define that for us?
I have this manual here, Essential Reiki for Healers by Diane Stein, and I'd like to just read the first couple paragraphs out of here, if that's all right.
Oh, yes, please.
Reiki is an amazing healing system. It offers the ability and opportunity to train a competent hands-on healer in an afternoon, or a teacher of healing in 3 intensive teaching sessions, plus some practice and commitment on the student's own. No other system of metaphysical healing can offer this. If you want to be a homeopath, a herbalist, an acupuncturist, a crystal healer, or a flower essence practitioner, it takes years or a lifetime of study and experience to become a good one. This is also true for most healing disciplines, where competence takes significant amounts of study, training, and time. A well-taught 3-day Reiki teaching weekend, however, provides the foundation, information, and training, while the student's experience and willingness is to use what he or she has learned to do the rest. So I hope that answers part of that question.
I think it does, but it kind of leaves me wanting to ask more questions. So how do you interact? Let's say that I'm interested in doing Reiki with you. Is that the right word? Do I say that?
Right.
If I want to do Reiki with you, what's that look like? Is it like I come to a spa, or we just find a place? Is it outside? And what do we do?
Well, my most recent Reiki training was with the William Rand Institute out of Southfield, Michigan. The teacher I had was trained in the Holy Light Reiki, and that was done actually at a hotel room over on campus. So usually you'll find something like that where it's a conference room or hotel room of some sort, at least in my experience for training.
Okay. And so what do I do with Reiki, though? I mean, if I'm asking really basic, like if yoga, if I was going to define that, I stretch, I meditate. Yeah.
Reiki is translated as, universal life energy. So with that, it's independent of any religion. It works universally. And as a Reiki healer, I basically draw upon that universal energy and focus it into the person that needs healing. I concentrate on what areas seem to be the most adversely affected, and then I clear those blockages. If you take a person and lay them out horizontally, and you chop them up into 7 different sections, roughly, each one of those sections could correspond with what they call a chakras. Okay, if anyone knows anything about chakras, then you know that there's certain points along the body that correspond with that. So what I do is I basically go over the person, figure out which chakra they have blocked, and I work to remove those blockages in the person. Okay. Another good way to visualize it would be Da Vinci's man, right? Around the man, you have this ball of energy, basically. A good way to describe it. So, so from where I'm sitting, right, you can see that there's this halo around me, right? And that halo, if you can imagine, to go maybe about that far off of your body, all the way around you. That's basically what your aura looks like to me when I'm able to read it. And that's what we work with as Reiki practitioners, primarily to correct the blockages in your aura.
I got it.
And
So thank you.
You know,
it works.
Yeah, it's been medically proven. We've got Reiki practitioners here in the Lansing area that are working. I don't know of any myself, but I know there's some at the hospitals. And for example, University of Michigan, I read an article a couple of years ago that said they had over 25 full-time Reiki professionals in their hospital. So it's definitely something that has scientific and medical merit to it.
And that's from this flow of the energy of the universe, right?
Correct.
How I don't know the questions to ask sometimes, but how do these blockages occur? What is that? Stress? Is it poor diet? Is it? Yeah.
It could be stress. It could be trauma. Certainly any kind of major life event. Experiencing death of a family member, or giving birth maybe, or daily stresses, major changes in life are all things that can contribute to it. It's kind of individual. It's different for everyone.
So we're all broken in our own little ways.
Huh? Right.
Well, are we broken? Would you use a term like that, or would you use a different term in Reiki?
Well, like I said, the terminology they use in Reiki is more or less is, your aura has a blockage to it. So we're there to help clear the blockages, let the energy flow freely.
And do you do that? I think we talked earlier about like AC versus DC, and I could see like you're pushing energy maybe that helps, or are you pulling energy, or both?
For me personally, the way I define my Reiki is that the universe is something that was constructed by God. Therefore, the energy comes from God through the universe down through me. And I basically, I really don't like using the word channel, but that's the only one that comes to mind at the moment. I kind of, direct it to where it needs to go in the person.
Okay. And that could then block the kind of, I don't know, like plunging. I'm trying to figure out on your side what you're feeling, what you're doing as I'm laying there. Yeah.
I work on my dad every day. Okay. As an example, he has pain in both of his hips. After I do a Reiki session, he says he feels less pain.
Yeah.
And so that's a good example, I think, of one way that Reiki's used.
Yeah. The universe is full of unknown things, isn't it? Or kind of discovered things to normal people. So.
Right. And the problem is that a lot of people have a hard time coming to grasp with things they can't see, feel, or touch. And so trying to, explain how Reiki works to someone without showing them is a little difficult. And sometimes it's near impossible because, the way healing works, it's really your body is doing the healing. I'm just helping direct it to where it needs to go. And so you need to be open and accepting of that healing, really, for it to be able to work. One thing I always show people is that, like with friction, right? There's a physical effect. You rub your hands together, they get hot, right? I don't have to rub my hands together. I can focus, and I can show people that there's an energy there. There's an energy field, and they can physically feel the heat. So, that's one of the things that I've learned to do, to try and, convince people that it's a valid method or valid things. A lot of people think it's just a bunch of, hocus pocus, whatever.
I used to do this thing in my meditation where I'd start with my hands kind of cusped like this and try to make a bigger and bigger ball.
Right.
And I could physically feel that ball.
Exactly.
Right. Is it
that
something
is energy.
like that?
That is energy.
And then I would play around with that ball. I'd break it in half. I'd throw it away, and it'd come back and stuff like that. Similar type of thing. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. The ball is a great example because you mentioned breaking the ball up. Okay. So if that ball is a ball of all of your tension, all your stress, and all your negativity, then what I do as a Reiki practitioner is I break it up.
Where's it go? No, I'm just kidding. Does it just, how would you look at that? Does it just transform to something else? Is it molecules of stress that go out to other people?
One of the things they teach you in Reiki is about grounding, being grounded and centered. And that's something anyone can look up if they need to find out more information about it. But the basic principle is that your body is a sieve for negative energy, and you let it drain out into the earth. Or there's a couple other methods as well, but that's the one that I normally use.
Yeah, I like that. I like it. So I think that how do you want to expound on that? Because we kind of did you and your projects all as one continual flow. Okay. But are there other things in the Reiki that you want to talk about? I think you have a tie to maybe religion a little bit more.
Right. I'm a Christian. I study through the Episcopal Church. And one of the things that I came across in my studies at my church was the Order of St. Luke the Physician, which is a monastic healing order. I believe in the apostolic succession. I believe in laying of hands for bishops. And so this is kind of, a continuance of that for me in the sense that it's faith healing. The parent organization to OSL is Christian Healing Ministries. And I've got their mission statement here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but
is it too long to read, or is it okay to
read? I can read it. Yeah, that's fine. So Christian Healing Ministries is a Christ-centered organization dedicated for prayer for healing, and encouraging and teaching of other people to pray for healing. The mission of the Christ Healing Ministries is to bring the healing message of the gospel that Jesus came to heal his people. It is a Christ-centered ecumenical non-profit organization dedicated to the spreading of our Lord's ministry of healing, and by teaching and praying with those needing healing physically, and emotionally, and spiritually. The goals of CHM include bringing healing to God's hurting people, teaching others to be compassionate prayer ministers, establishing prayer teams in churches, integrating our Lord's healing through prayer, and leading seminars on a variety of healing topics.
All right.
So that's
go ahead.
At OSL. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Oh, well, you're an expert here. You're teaching us a lot. So thanks you for going through the nervousness.
The foundation of Christ's Healing Ministries was laid more than 40 years ago with the beginning ministry of Francis McNutt, one of the first Catholic priests to become involved in the charismatic renewal movement. As head of the Catholic Homiletic Society, he taught workshops on preaching. He established a healing ministry in St. Louis called Merton House, and traveled the world speaking about spiritual and renewal and healing. In 1980, he married Judith Sowell and no longer was able to exercise a ministry as a Catholic priest. The couple then founded the Christian Healing Ministries in Clearwater, Florida. In 1987, the Episcopal Bishop of Jacksonville and his wife persuaded the McNutts to come to Jacksonville. The diocesan leaders offered to put the Episcopal diocese behind Christian Healing Ministries and support ministry in every way except financially, as the ministry is economical and not an Episcopal organization. So basically what this is telling us is that, CHM is multi-denominational. It's for everybody.
Are there some? Oh, go ahead.
I did my intensive weekend retreat to become an associate member of the Order of St. Luke. And that was in Indiana a couple of years ago. Let me see if I can pull up the website.
Are there sects of Christianity that would look upon what you're doing as not good? I guess I don't know the right word.
If we're talking about Reiki, then yes. If you're talking about OSL, probably not.
Okay.
It just depends on what it is that you're doing. Like I said, OSL is Christian based, whereas Reiki is universal and independent of any religion. I've been fortunate enough to have friends who are both Christian and pagan, and I've had the ability to study some parts of New Paganism, Neo-paganism, and Wicca. So for those folks, I try to incorporate what I know about their religion as best I can into my healing practices with Reiki. And likewise with Christianity, I do the same thing. And if I can incorporate prayer into the session, I do that as well.
So the Mid-Michigan Renaissance Festival, that's coming up, right?
Yep, that's going to be my next event. If you drive into Frankenmuth, head north. I don't remember the name of the road, but if you turn right towards Vassar, you can't miss it. It's on your left. And that will be where I'll be doing my next booth, which, ties back into, the question of how is the business structured and what are my goals. So trying to get into those questions then. The focus has always been on trying to find people that need healing and being able to put my name out there, which has been pretty difficult with COVID. This is going to be the first, I think, major festival I've done in probably about 3 years. I did one other smaller festival earlier, and that was a big success down in Three Rivers. But in my opinion, the Mid-Michigan Renaissance Festival is the second largest Renaissance festival in the state. The first obviously being the Michigan Renaissance Festival down in Holly off Dixie Highway.
And I've put the website in the comments for people if they want to look at that. Let's talk about the business. Do you do healing on site there?
There's two ways to do it. Yeah, I will do healing on site, and I also do distance Reiki treatments as well. I've got one person that requested information off of my website, and I'm waiting to hear back from them about that. Personally, I think that my Reiki is more effective in person. And I know there's people out there, for example, folks with fibromyalgia who are sensitive to touch, like any touch. Yeah. Although I'll compare or try and draw parallels between massage therapy and Reiki, what I try and do is, maybe an inch to 6 inches off of skin versus actually touching the client.
Okay. So what else can you tell us, or do you want to tell us about your business? Like, do you have a website?
I do have a website. It's Reiki by Donation. The other part of my business that I do is tarot card reading and angel oracle card reading. I do that as well for people, which is more on the entertainment side. There again, there's a lot of people that are really sensitive to religion, and so I try to be as accommodating as I can to everybody.
There are people that it kind of triggers them a little bit, right?
Right. Now, this is something interesting. I just did a session on Zoom yesterday with the national director of the Order of St. Luke, CHM. They were talking to us about, the 20-somethings, 30-somethings, 40-somethings, and what their experience with, OSL has been in breaking out into prayer teams and then doing, small group healing sessions. which is characteristic of how OSL works. But he was saying that he grew up with his parents. His mom was a humanist and a psychologist, which is a far cry away from what his beliefs were as now a minister in the Christian church. And so what was he saying that was irrelevant? That's right. The way he was describing it was really interesting to me, because he was almost like, yeah, you're almost like channeling the energy from the Holy Spirit to do the healing. Going back to my training in Indiana, what we did primarily was a session where we watched a bunch of videos and documentation, testimonials, and then we broke out into smaller groups, and we prayed for those who were sick or needed healing in some way as a group. And while we were doing the videos, one of the videos we saw was this guy driving around a truck. One of the leaders was telling us the same sort of thing, like they were out there doing miracles for people based on which way the Lord told them to travel at that specific time. So, maybe they got a feeling to turn left at a certain light, and that's what led them to the place to do their miracles. What's your next question? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to make sure that we cover all the things that you wanted to talk about. But my next question is going to be, what's something you do every damn day to push these missions or that mission forward?
Being a monastic order, there's a certain amount of meditation that's required for OSL, and then also for Reiki practitioners, one of the things we're supposed to do every day are the 5 different kind of, I can't think of right, like the 5 different statements. Just for there, if you Google "just for today," you'll find all of them listed in different formats.
Just for today?
Yep. So, for example, just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will be kind to all living things. Just for today, I will give thanks and praise for my many blessings. Those are a few of them.
Okay, I got it. So do you do that every day?
I don't do it every day, but I do it as often as I remember.
Yeah. I had heard you said you're supposed to, and I didn't know
right.
That was implying something. Yeah, I got a lot of things I do every day that I'm supposed to do every day. So we daisy chain the shows together, and yesterday on the show I had James Hodge. He's a bartender, and his question to you is, what's something you do every day almost, or no, not every day. What's something you do to further this craft?
Certainly the daily meditations, is something that I do. Making sure that my website's up and running so that people can contact me for Reiki healing, and then also for, the Order of St. Luke.
Yeah.
And right now, that's pretty much it.
How do you learn more about it? How do you get better at it? Through those same things? By
taking classes. There are people out there who are teaching like myself with the Reiki mastership levels. And there's a lot of different types of Reiki. From the traditional Reiki, where Mr. Usui climbed the mountain, had his ordeal for 3 weeks, and the symbols came to him. And they came back down the mountain in Japan to his disciples is a bad word. His students, when his students broke off into smaller groups to become teachers, some of them kept the traditional methods that Mr. Usui created, and others went off to do other systems. I think Ryoko was one of the students that he had and developed his own system as well. So you've got those two systems as an example for Reiki. And then also William Rand out of Southfield has a very large Reiki business. It's a very successful Reiki business. In teaching, he's developed the Reiki Institute. Excuse me.
Okay.
And that's where I did the Holy Fire with his organization. So I've got my levels 1 and 2 in Reiki Holy Fire, and then from there, the next step obviously is for me to get my master level, and then possibly go to other Reiki systems to learn more about those.
Okay, so there's
anyone starting out, you can do Reiki 1, and that'll get you the basic symbol to get started with Reiki healing. The way it was described to me to teach people about Reiki, if you can imagine like a faucet, and you just turn the faucet on barely so it drips, that's level 1. You turn the faucet on all the way, that's like Reiki level 2. And then like the Hoover Dam is the amount of energy by comparison you'd find in your mastership levels.
Okay. That's a big change. That's a big jump between level 2 and master, huh?
Right. Yeah, it is.
So tomorrow on the show, I've got Sarah Pierce, who runs 517 Living and does a billion other things. What question would you like to ask Sarah?
Basically, if the Fledge were to give your business a grant, where would you find it most useful to apply to your business?
And so I love this question. Nobody's ever asked that question before. If I turn that on you, what would you do with the grant?
I would probably hire employees and then use the grant towards the incorporation of the business. So, eventually we could do nonprofit status.
Is that what you want to be as a nonprofit?
Yeah, I do. And it's based, on the 2 schools of thought, that either Reiki is something that should be done kind of in kind or not for profit. And then also, kind of opposite to Reiki by donation, there's those that feel that Reiki should be done, for profit, and people should be able to make more than just a living off of it.
Yeah.
So
in the Reiki by donation, is that exactly what it sounds like? You would do that for me, and I give you what I feel I can give you, or what's that mean?
The standard of the industry is similar in what I've learned to be for massage therapists or even tarot card readers. It's about $1 a minute on average. So, I tell people that, the recommended donation is about $1 a minute. Okay. Or, $15 for a session or $60 for a session, depending on how long it is.
Okay. That's a good guideline. So, happiness, sadness, joy, or hope? Which one would you like to talk about?
Happiness and hope. Hope brings happiness.
Yeah? What do you mean by that? Well, first of all, let's start with happiness. What is happiness to you?
Coming out of COVID with more clients and being able to successfully turn what is effectively right now a hobby into more of a full-time business.
Oh, nice. And what gives you hope?
The fact that our governor has graciously lifted the mask restrictions and people are starting to go out. The fact that we've got stimulus checks that people are going to spend on business. So I'm hoping that, some of that will come my way at the festival.
All right. So anything else that we forgot to talk about?
I don't think so. I just wanted to reiterate and suggest that, like I said, Reiki is universal. It's independent of any religion. For anybody who wants to get, into learning Reiki, it's a great thing to do. And there's a lot of Reiki practitioners around here. If you visit any of the New Age stores, you'll probably find a card for a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki practitioner themselves. And also, obviously, I'm available as a teacher. I have this wonderful manual here, which I use for students.
Did you put that together? Is it a bunch of stuff?
I did not. This was actually a book done by Diane Stein.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know that you had a trailer problem and all this other stuff that you've been dealing with, but you meditate so that you were calm through the whole process, right?
And I also had a short phone call with you beforehand, so that made me feel okay.
Well,
That
I think
was-
you did great.
Yep.
I think I learned a lot about Reiki. I really didn't ever study it or look it up or know what it is.
It is a form of energy healing. So
Yeah.
that's one of the basic things. And then my website is reikibydonation.us.
.us.
Yep.
I made a mistake. I can edit that later because I put .com. Let me put that out there, right? Got it. And so let me just say thank you very much. We have every damn day at 2. So we'll be back on tomorrow with Sarah Pierce. And I'd like to ask you, Jolyon, if you would take us out with something.
Sure. I hope that you have many people watching and that everyone can say a short prayer with me. Dear Lord, we graciously thank you for the time that we have had here today. And I pray for the continuing mission of the Fledge, and I hope that they prosper, and that everyone who's watching is, able to successfully, hopefully, be able to help in completing that journey.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you so very much. All right, everyone. That's a wrap. We will see you later. We're in sync.